Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Fake Chats with Andrew Burnett. I am here today with a very special group. I normally don't have this many squares on, but hey, we do today. We got Mercy's One with us. How are y'all doing?
Doing great.
Hey, great.
So, to start off the conversation, I know you're from Bowling Green, Kentucky, but share with us a little bit about how you got your start and the great things that your group is doing.
I'll take that one because it's one of my favorite stories to tell. Russ and I were actually singing in another group, and we had stopped singing with that group. And Russ had gotten a call from the Dixie Echoes asking him to try out for them, and it wasn't right for our family at the time. So he was like, "I'm going to try and find a group to sing with." And so he went down to a local couple that we absolutely love. They're fantastic people, but he auditioned with them. And we were on the way back from the audition, and I just started crying. And he goes, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "You're going to sing without me." Because we had been singing together for several years at that point. And so it just broke my heart that he was going to go join another group with another guy and his wife and leave me behind.
Well, they were all male at the time, and just know that.
Yeah. And so he said, "Well, I'm not going to do that. What do you want to do?" And I said, "Well, we'll start our own group." And that day we started praying about it. And next thing we knew, we started calling people around saying, "Hey, we're starting a group. Are you interested?" And we thought we had all of the members kind of in place. And Russ had posted something on Facebook. And Danielle, Darren's wife, had contacted Russ and said, "You guys aren't done picking out people until you hear my husband." And so we got in contact with Darren, and Darren, Eric, and Russ all actually went to college together. So they all kind of knew each other, but weren't really close friends at the time.
Eric's a commuter. And, I mean, he was there, but we didn't know it. Darren was Mr. Jenkins. He was my dorm director.
And so that's how Danielle and Darren and Russ were all friends on Facebook. And so Russ was like, "Okay." So then they got in contact with Darren, and Darren came down and did an audition. And that's how the original four, we were with Kevin Willis at the time. He was an original member. And then, so that's kind of how it all started. Me crying on the way home.
And that baritone position, they'd come, they'd stay for a little while and come and stay. And good folks.
I mean, we had rotating baritones for a little bit. I mean, our very first concert was not with our original baritone.
He got sick and we had to get filled. That's right.
Yeah, he couldn't be at our very first concert. And so we actually ended up having Josh Gardner fill in for our first concert. And
3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years ago, we met Eric. I begged Eric to sing with us, and he told me no. I don't ever let him live it down because I prayed really hard and the Lord was faithful.
I'll just say this: one of the before that, what he went, he stuck around. Also, as a family, on pages, and now the way to be. So we're just trying to be confident.
I think their internet froze up.
I think your audio's cutting, guys. Your internet's cutting.
Oh.
Yeah, hang on.
What did
your internet froze up there for a minute. We couldn't understand what you were saying.
They can't handle all that bass. Starts talking that bassy voice, the internet just gets way down. And
right when he started talking, we missed that whole part.
Placement.
You gotta keep your head above
talk a little higher, Russ. Like talk like a girl.
I can't talk as high as you.
Oh, let's go.
No, I was just saying that the lineup you see before you, Darren, Eric, Shell, and myself, we're thankful for the people who helped along the way. But this is the lineup that, when God put it together, we knew that it was uh, it was a fit not only vocally, but a fit also just as a family. And I was just saying, we're just who we are and love the Lord, love one another, like brothers and sisters, and just have a great time. And just do, matters not what stage we take, we just do what we do.
So Darren and Eric, have y'all always been around gospel music, or was this something, a new adventure for you?
Eric, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I grew up listening and loving Southern gospel music. It's just something that's just always been a part of my life. I've always wanted to do that. Didn't think the opportunity would come up, and so fortunate that it has. And it's just been a blessing to get to sing with these guys and get to minister with them at various churches and things. So been singing. I started singing when I was right out of high school, singing with a little quartet with my brother. I got a twin brother, and he and a couple of friends that we started a quartet, and we traveled to some local churches, and so got a little taste of it that way. But that's kind of where it started for me at a very young age.
And I had a lot of musical influence growing up. My grandmother, especially, she listened to gospel music and stuff. In high school, I was more, I would say, more the contemporary leaning, but I think more toward, as I got a little bit older in high school, I got a hold of a Cathedrals album, and I wore that thing completely out. It was, I loved that. And but I've sung, I love music. There's not much, you just about have to try really hard for me to not like music. But yeah, I think a lot of my influences were, Larnell Harris and Michael English and, the Cathedrals. I love them. Stephen Curtis Chapman, when I think about maybe a little more contemporary leaning, I always loved his stuff. Those were kind of the guys that I always kind of patterned my voice after when I was singing.
So in 2022, y'all had the opportunity to work with Gordon Mote. Share with us what that experience was like to be able to have him produce your first project.
That was terrifying. So we had met with Gordon the first time, and he was like, let's go over to the piano. We're at his house. He just invited us over. He's like, well, let's just go to the piano and sing. And I was like standing there going, how am I supposed to sing in front of him right now? At that first time. And then when we went into the studio the first time to lay down vocals, we're walking in, and the guy that owns the studio says, well, when Carrie Underwood was here a couple weeks ago, like how am I supposed to do that? But the truth is that, and I've told Gordon this, when I first started singing for the project, I was very nervous because I had some very critical influences in my life. And Gordon was incredibly good about building back my confidence and not judging me if I hit a weird note because I was trying something different, and gave me the confidence to get into the studio and sing with my heart, and to sing with passion, and to sing and possibly make a mistake and know that he's just going to delete it and it's okay to figure it out. He's a really good confidence builder, and so talented.
So your first single from the album was In the Sweet Forever. Why that particular Redback hymnal song?
Well, I know that when they went to select it, by being a new group, we had put our kind of spin on, like you said, a Redback hymnal, a classic, a throwback. And it was something that he was creating a style, and we all had leads so that the radio audience could be familiar with our voices. We all sang parts as well. So, and it did really well for us. We enjoyed laying the track down, and we sing it to this day. We still do it quite a few concerts.
I seen the video. Somebody in the group's got some good piano talent too. I ain't gonna say no names.
Well,
But.
thank you. Oh, wait a
Oh, me.
and you know, on the
minute. Derek
project,
Jenkins coming to you in 2026. Oh, never mind.
you're gonna be the piano prodigy. You gonna take.
I'm the guy who plugs it in and lets him play.
Not jumping ahead, but this last project, I actually did a piano solo on the project. Gordon, love Gordon. I had sang in front of Gordon multiple times, relaxed with Gordon. And then it dawned on me, I'm about to play the piano in front of Gordon Moe. Going to tell me if it's a good take or not.
Yeah.
So we did that. I'll just say this on the new project. And he didn't go back and have to do anything like do any type of edits himself. It's me. But I'll get people to go, that's a great, oh, that was wonderful. How much did Gordon add to it? I'm like, he didn't. I will tell you a funny story though. We were laying down the piano track on a Nord, some type of Nord grand piano. I didn't know anything about it. Gordon came in there and said, "Here," and Gordon counts when he's familiar with the studio. He came over and found the piano sound he wanted that I couldn't locate on the keyboard.
Wow.
Well, in all fairness, he's very familiar with the studios that he
Oh yeah, that he uses.
records, and he goes to his favorite studios pretty regularly. And you know, he wasn't any different with us when we came in. He said, you know, this is where Gaither was gonna, because it was originally a Gaither spot at the studio with the band that was gonna be on Gaither's project, and he didn't change anything for us. He said, okay, this is where I record with Gaither, and this is the same band that was going to be on Gaither's project. And he didn't treat us any lesser, you know, being a new group. He did, and yeah, the musicians didn't either. They just, okay, and it's one of his favorite studios to go to, and so that's where he goes. He's comfortable there.
And I will add this, and Eric, Darren, agree or disagree. I don't know. I've been in studios where the producers that fist, you get it right. You just Gordon can bring more out of you by just knowing what motivates you. First project, Darren, you needed to loosened up a little bit, didn't you? He thought.
Yeah.
So, kind of what happened there on the first one.
Well,
You know,
he gave me
remember
chop. I'm kidding.
that? You went to video.
What was that?
No, what did Gordon do to kind of loosen you up, or he just did to me on the first project?
Well, with me, he would tell me a lot of jokes and stuff. He'd get me laughing or whatever, you know, and you know, he wouldn't let me, I think, take myself too seriously, and he would take breaks and things. So I always appreciated that about Gordon. I kind of had the same feelings that Shayla did going in. I had honestly never been in a studio experience, unlike Russ. So everything was brand new to me going into something like that. And you know, Gordon was so you know, he would say funny things like you know, well, you know, besides being on pitch and in the pocket, you did everything right. You know, I mean, just, you know, laugh and you know that you totally blew it, but he made it funny. We'd try again.
And what was? Yeah, my favorite one though is where he loosened you up. He said you walked in today. He said you didn't even look at me. Remember that
No.
one?
I can't recall he said, yeah, but he was acting like I was being a star or something, not paying attention to him or whatever. He's like, you didn't talk to me, didn't shake my hand or whatever, you know. Yeah.
Eric, what was your favorite experience from the project?
Oh, just going into the studio itself, just kind of echoing what they've said, was probably the most fun. You know, learning that and getting to meet the people that we've met through the process has been great as well. But just working with Gordon, I think would have to be top of the list there, and what he's been able to bring out of us, and just the confidence you could see from the moment I started with him to where we're at today. And it just helps our ministry because we don't go in there thinking about these, overthinking things. It just comes out more natural now. And I think we appreciate what he's done for us just in that capacity.
So besides recording a project with Gordon Moak, what's been a memorable experience for y'all so far as a group?
Darren losing his belt.
I'm never
They
going
used to throw shoes. Eric, would you like to share a little bit more?
Yeah, we're in a concert at my grandmother's church.
That's not what I was going to say, but go ahead, brother.
And Darren's belt.
Go ahead.
Darren's belt breaks, and instead of just being sly about it, taking it off and hiding it behind the pulpit, he decided to take it off, whip it off, and give it a fling into the front pew. Fortunately, we have been invited back to this church a few times since, so they haven't just written us off.
Yeah, I bet they never forgot us after that.
That's right.
I'll forget that for a while. It was very memorable. I don't know. For me, I don't know. Silver Dollar City and AGM Awards. We do a lot with AGM and Community Stapling. I don't know. We got to do things, but just I just love going around to the churches we get to go minister in and all over, wherever it's at.
Yeah.
Well, Darren, they done told a funny story on you. So what's the one you got on them?
Oh my goodness! Don't even try to get me to remember.
For you to be, because
He's asking the most forgetful member of the group about something here. I can't remember anything.
about what?
Shayla, what about you? What's been a memorable experience for you?
Oh, one of my favorite things that we've done is the concert we just recently did with Joseph Habedank. When his team called us and said, "Hey, we're trying to get in the area. We've heard of you guys, and we've heard that you guys are the people to contact." When Russ told me that he'd gotten a call, he was a little skeptical because there's a lot of frauds out there. And I started looking up the name and I was like, call him back. No, call them back right now. And it was fun because Joseph Habedank is just a very real person. And he was one that never treated us less than, he could have come in and been like, because he's Dove, Grammy, all those nominations and awards. And he could have come in and just been a total jerk to us. And he didn't. He gave us hugs. His band was awesome. And it was just a really fun time with them. It was more like hanging out with friends than it was, meeting an artist in the industry. And to me, it was a lot of fun. It was just fun to get to sing, with the crowd.
And I'll tell you a fun one for me. You guys may or may not, but I think you loved it.
You gotta keep your face in the shot so they can see your little mouth.
But we had Bob Sellers come up, Alabama Bob, that used to be with the Kingsmen. And he wanted to get together and he said, Russ, we're going to do songs that every gospel singer's tired of singing, but all the crowds love. I said, okay. So what all did we do? We did Beulah Land. We did Love the Name of Jesus, The Lighthouse with Sellers on tenor.
Darren, I'm surprised you weren't telling on me with Sellers.
And then we did Love Lifted Me, The Kingsman Way. But the funniest one was Glory Road, because of the little flip that the tenor does with the Kingsman. And Sheila said, I'm purposely not going to do it. So he'd have to stop every night 3 or 4 times in the Kingsman Way. So those were memorable times.
I'm surprised you didn't tell that story, Darren, because we're standing there on stage and Darren looks at me and goes, ooh, he got you. And he was egging him on. Come on, Darren. He for 6 years, and you took Bob's side on that one.
I believe
Darren seems to be the one that wants to play Mr. Innocent. He's just going to sit back and be quiet, and he ain't going to say like he did no wrong. So
I'm just kind of a deep thinker, you know, of these groups. Like Eric is insanely good looking, you know. Shayla Shayla is like, you know, so graceful, and you know, and Russ is like super talented with the bass, and somebody's got to be the thinker of the group, you know. I think of things like, you know, do you know that like fish, they don't have a very good love life. Did you know that? There's a lot of fish in the sea, but love is in the air. See, that's the problem, you know. I think about that.
Okay, we're really finding out about Darren right about now.
Probably more
We'll
than
have
what
to, we'll have to bring him back for more Darren thoughts of the day.
Start a podcast, Darren. Start a podcast.
Oh, man.
So this is what I like to do to Eric every time we go on a concert. I have a joke ready for him, and sometimes I just catch him so off guard he doesn't even know how to react.
You
Yeah,
catch
I
all
love
of us off guard.
I can imagine having to stand beside him in the concert and him making you start to laugh during a song or something.
There was one day it was so bad. We were all ganging up on Eric, and Darren had told one of the most awful jokes on Eric he had done yet. And Eric goes, "What did you
Oh no, we can't hear. Yeah, Eric was like, "What did I do to you people?"
Yeah.
That's so funny.
But he's still here.
We can't hear you. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
we stopped talking?"
Oh, we lost
We're here.
again.
We're here.
They froze up there for a second.
Yeah.
Anyway, Darren, Eric, you
Yep.
know, was about a funny road story that would stick out to y'all.
Oh my goodness. Funny road stories.
Hmm.
Eric, I'm sure you got a few you could tell on Darren right about now. Some to share on air and some that you can't share on air.
Brother Eric, would you like to take the floor?
I don't know here. I do have to still stand beside him when we sing. So I gotta be careful.
Saturday, buddy. Saturday.
He still introduces you every time.
It's true. I got to be real careful. Darren's great.
Bye.
He's a real nice guy, right?
Oh, goodness.
No, I don't know of any. I don't know any stories that I should share. I'll keep those in my back pocket.
One of my favorite things is we were in at the Biblical Times Theater. You remember this? And we do That's Why I Love Him So. Eric's got the lead.
Oh, yeah.
Then it comes Darren's part, stacking in, and then Shayla and I come in. We're in sound check, and Shayla and Darren collided like boom.
I don't know why, but he hip popped me
He hip checked
as I was coming
dirty
in
football player, man.
and about knocked me over. We have a video
True.
on our Facebook. If you go to our Facebook, you can find that video.
Yeah.
Wow. Darren, they just trying to find a way to throw you under the bus tonight, I believe.
I'm used to it
I
now.
know.
It don't even faze me anymore. It don't even see sweat. It's just
So what's coming up for the group? Any new singles on the way or anything coming up you'd like to share?
Well, we've had the release of a second project, and it's actually more of a specialty project that we've got out, and we're not releasing anything off of it. Still releasing off of the first major one, but it's been really neat to go back and do songs. Eric does Roll of the Senate, Swing Down Chariot,
Grip of Grace.
Grip of Grace, Mercy of the Bridge, paying tribute to a lot of the songs and the artists. But our new radio single, couple months maybe, is His Love Can Reach That Far. It features Darren, and it's doing well. So we've seen the song really minister and various places, and to now see it go on radio and get some of the emails or comments, this or that, or just have somebody come up to you at a church or event, it's pretty amazing. And
Well,
humbling.
to close out the interview, share with us how we can find out more about y'all or how somebody can book y'all for a concert if they're interested.
Oh, that's another story, Darren. You could have told on Russ.
Go ahead.
The www.
Okay, so we did our.
Oh no, you need to let Darren tell the story because Darren's gotten told plenty of times.
Yeah, Darren, go ahead.
So we usually try to tell people when we're in concerts, what we're doing. And so Russ, gets up on stage and he's telling everybody, how to reach our website. And he's like, you've got to go to www.mercies.com. And we're all kind of like, www is kind of not really necessary anymore there, right?
A lot of extra.
But I said that, you can say mercies1.com. CRYSWON. Mercy has one. No apostrophe in the URL. But mercies1.com is our website. That's one way you can definitely get in touch with us. I'm sure Sayla would love to share with you some other ways.
Well, on our website, we actually just added a booking request form, and that kind of helps us figure out, it allows us to do it more in-house, but then we're able to kind of figure out a little bit easier our needs, depending on where we're going. And it gives us kind of talk to everyone in the group and say, okay, what do we have going on? Do we have another booking? So we really encourage people to go fill out that form. It's not super detailed, but just kind of gives us an overview of what you're wanting us for and where it's at and those types of things. And then like I said, it goes in-house, and then we have people who are able to follow up with those emails. Facebook's another really great way to connect. We've got Instagram. We get messages on all of those. People are wanting to connect. I'm trying to think. I think that's about it.
Email
as far
us
as connecting.
mercies1@gmail.com. Send us an email.
My AOL handle is, never mind.
Leave it to Darren. Leave it to Darren.
Let me see Darren.
Always count on him.
Darren, I think you should start a Facebook post, not encouraging you, but you ought to start a Facebook post, Darren's dad joke of the day.
I think you're right. I think that should be I should have like Darren's dad joke corner on our website. Don't you think?
Yep, I think you should go for that.
Yeah, Andrew, I thank you for encouraging me. These guys are going to encouraging me.
And maybe we'll just have to bring you back and let you tell more jokes.
Okay. That sounds like a good deal.
We've had a great time with you all. I tell you, I love going on YouTube, watching your videos, listening to your music. I tell you, you've got a very unique sound, very tight sound. And I encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing because God's got his hand on your ministry and he's going to take you further than you ever imagined.
Yes.
Thank you.
Got it.
All right, y'all be blessed.
You too.
Thank
Nice
you.
talking.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.